This is Valerie Van Boeven with the Senior Care Industry Netcast, where leaders with 3 or more years in the senior care industry share their advice. It's 6 questions in 9 minutes, so let's get to it. In a few sentences, tell us who you are and what you do.
Hi, Valerie. Thank you for having me today. I appreciate it. My name is Nicole, and I am the founder of Will Gather. And we're multifaceted in that we have a podcast where we speak to loved ones that have aging people in their life and provide them with helpful resources and informative interviews. And we also have our website that connects our life enrichment directors, activity directors with all of those quality of life vendors that we love and we look for and want to have come into our facility. So that is like us in a little bit of a nutshell.
Well, that's awesome. And we'll make sure your website is here with our video so that everybody can go to your website and check it out and subscribe to your podcast and get all their resources they might want. So
awesome. Thank you.
Okay. So tell us, what is the best thing about serving aging adults?
Yeah, that's such a good question. And I have found that, this population has gone before us. We have the privilege of learning from them, all of their wisdom, their insight, and in turn, it's such a privilege to be able to pour into their lives and offer services, offer resources to be able to, give back and just be able to make those, their daily lives better each day. At least that's my goal, and really enrich those days for them. So that
Very
is
nice.
my passion about that.
That's awesome. And I think we get lots of different answers, but it's always great to come from a different perspective. Mm-hmm. And from your perspective might be a little bit different than the person that we interviewed earlier today. So it's really great to hear everybody's different in sort of what makes what is interesting to them in their career and what is so important to them about serving aging adults.
Right.
Everybody's got a great answer. And a lot of it does revolve around listening and enjoying the rich history that our aging adults have, and the stuff that they have made it through before our generation had to make it through, like a pandemic.
I know.
They've already seen a lot of this stuff in their lives, and or wars or whatever. So you know what? They're a little tougher than us, I think, in some ways.
Yeah, they can really offer some good advice about that. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So let's change gears a second and talk about marketing online. We have all been a little bit shoved into understanding the importance of having a great online presence. It's challenging, it's ever changing. I know that. So what has been your experience with online marketing?
Yes, it is ever changing. When we started our company and had a vision for it, what social media was then is not what it is now. And it's really adjusting, being able to adapt. You're right. Our niche in aging is so specific that the challenge is that it's hard to reach. How do we reach that broad audience while being specific to what our industry is? And so we have found challenges in that those algorithms are changing, trying to discover where our clients, what networks that they're participating in and being a part of, but also feeling like there are some benefits to we now have this world that's become a global world that we're able to tap into that we might not have been able to before. Mm-hmm. And so we find that our marketing, healthcare is challenging because my background as a director in a senior living facility, we have to abide by those privacy and that HIPAA. And you want to share stories, but how do you do that in a way that protects that information, but also has you be relatable to the general public? And so social media, I found, if I'm bringing it back to my company now, has been where we do our marketing, in the sense that people buy from people, and social media gives us an avenue to connect with a lot of different people. And when I say social media, it's kind of the big picture of, you've got Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn and those different online networks where you can connect and actually be able to identify who your target market is. And so we're able to engage with them. And I think our focus has been really deciding to make it about relationships. And so we've created relationships, and we've been able to network in our marketing and really connect with people that have a similar passion that we do. And so what we found is, like, there's no better thing than when other people can cheer each other on that have the same passion. So that has been our focus, is like, create those relationships, have really good networks, cheer each other on. We're all here for the greater good of providing amazing things for our seniors. So the challenge, I mean, there are many challenges, and I feel like I would never really have ever learned about SEO before, or
Right.
algorithms, or, but you just kind of dive into that world because you got to figure it out and take on that personal responsibility of learning or hiring professionals that are really good at what they do. So.
Yep, you're right. It is. It's funny you talked about where is our audience, and professionals could be on many different platforms. But I find that our seniors and even our adult children, like I would be a Gen Xer, you're not going to find me on Snapchat,
Right.
but you will find my seniors' daughters on there.
Yeah, totally.
But so I see people, oh, you should advertise on TikTok. You should advertise on Twitter. You should, no. That is not any place where we're going to get a client. I know it's fun. I know it's funny, but that's probably not our gig. So it is you really, I think, focusing on one or two platforms that you can do really well.
Yeah.
Knowing that probably Facebook, probably LinkedIn, and then, throw in some video and throw in some, really good blog posting and things like that. And you're probably pretty much hitting your target market.
Yeah.
I still believe that email newsletters, email, when it's not abused, is a really good way to get the message out still to this day.
Yeah, that is a powerful way. And it's a individual way to connect. I got some really great advice, kind of similar to what you were saying, from a professional that was really focus on those few platforms where your clients are and do that really well. I think if we tried to do everything, that's maybe trendy or what the hottest thing is, we will be spread thin, and you lose that vision and that focus. Yes. And so I think that's so true. That's great to kind of focus on those things.
Absolutely. Okay, let's go back to your wisdom. There are probably other successful leaders in this industry, like yourself, that have made a difference for you, maybe a mentor or inspiration. There might be organizations, people. Would you like to give a shout out to anybody who's just made a difference for you locally or on a national level or whatever?
Yeah, thank you. So I've had two former bosses, actually, that one is not with us anymore. She passed away, but she empowered me as a woman director in our senior living facility. We had a large facility, and continued to want to compensate me financially at a time when that's a little tricky in our world where our budgets are tight, and saw the value in that. And I think looking at comparatively what the market could bear, what my male peers were looking at. And so that was really helpful. I also had another boss who saw, it's like you need someone to take that first chance on you, right? When you go from not being a director to being a director, and having someone go, I believe in you enough to know that you can do this. And that was so helpful. And the person I really influenced my career is my grandmother, Betty. She lived with my family when I was growing up, and we got to do life with her, and I got to spend time with her, and I got to see her live out her legacy. And that really shaped my life and steered me in the direction of wanting to even become educated in this industry in gerontology. And that was what really steered me in the direction to serve our seniors. So I'm so thankful to her for that. And she's not with us anymore either, but I think of her often and always talk about her when I reference my experience coming into this industry. So
that's awesome. I mean, a lot of us have an experience like that, whether it's living with our grandparents or knowing that they were placed and we went to visit them or whatever. Our parents, the way we were raised with grandparents, often it shows a lot to us about aging in itself, and then leads us down a career path. And so it's always nice to have a grandparent who meant so much to you and kind of give you a little direction in what you want to do. So that's cool. All right. What piece of advice would you give to other senior care providers?
I know there's so many different directions, right? We could take this, but I always come back to really focus on the people and the relationships. We're in a people business. So whether it's you are working in a facility, we create a life story for our residents and those families that want that engagement and how they're going to see their loved one live out their life. And really, it is a business, but it also is about those relationships. And so that is one piece. And then really, I feel like when we're in a situation where we're connecting with other senior living professionals, again, I go back to, we have to have, for me personally, those authentic relationships and to be open to conversations and to people and to ideas. Our world is ever changing, and really hearing those stories. And I love hearing how people, got into the field or the businesses that they created and those ideas behind that. And so really just taking the time to develop those relationships and focus on those people.
Yeah, I agree with you. It is we are in a very emotional and sometimes overwhelming industry, and to get to know the people around us who are like-minded and have chosen this career path, I think understanding their story gives us a lot of, insight into what kind of leaders they are, what kind of caregivers they are. And that's always very important. So I agree with you. We're a like-minded bunch.
Yay,
so it's great to get to know each other, right?
I agree.
All right. My last question is supposed to be kind of fun. When you have a win in life, it could be personal, professional, it could be new babies, marriages, graduations. It could be a client that's super, super happy. How do you like to celebrate?
So pre-COVID, no, I know.
We can dream a little.
Right. So. Okay. Yeah. So I'll do two things. I'm like a foodie. I love trying new places to go out to eat. So I would say that is like my favorite thing is like, let's try a new place. But now, and I think previously, I tell someone, I call my best friend, or I tell my family and share that. I think there's something to be said about people coming alongside of you and being excited with you. But I also, on a personal, professional level, I write it down. I was given that advice. I write it down, those wins, because as an entrepreneur and as a person in business in general, we also have really hard days. And so when you have those hard days, it's so important. I've looked back on those wins and I've been like, okay, we've come so far, we've accomplished this, and we can do it again, or those carry you through. And so I do that. I think if you have people, employees, and that you're working with, it's so important to share those wins with them. And, how do they feel valued and what motivates them? I think praising the people that you're surrounded by, we're a team. especially in the senior living industry, there's a lot of people that come alongside all of us to make it happen. And so just being able to recognize that.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yes, absolutely. So yeah, I like all your ways of celebrating, and the writing it down is one that I haven't heard before. I'm sure a lot of people do it, but
Mhm.
you're right. It is, we as entrepreneurs, we have some days, whether you own a home care agency or you do
Mhm.
what I do or you do what you do.
Mhm. Mhm.
Oh, yeah, some days. So
Yeah.
being able to kind of look back and flip through and think, wow, that was a really good time, or that was really
Mhm.
cool, or we did this, it puts the excitement back into what you're doing, and it reminds
Yeah.
you why you're here on those
Mhm.
tough days. So, and hopefully you have more happy and fulfilling days than tough days, but they do come along. It's just part of doing
Mhm.
business. So,
Yep. Yep. They
yeah.
do.
Well, thank
They
you.
do.
Thank you for being on the show. Thank
Yes.
you for helping us understand more about you, your business, and sharing your wisdom with us. So that's what this is all about, is
Thank
senior
you.
care professionals sharing their wisdom and their
Mhm.
experience so we
Mhm.
can learn from each other and share some good news in the midst of a
Yeah.
world that can be overwhelmed with weird news.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for doing that and using your space to share all of that good news with other people.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.